Welcome, everybody, to Bleav in the Dallas Cowboys. I am Jeff Cavanaugh. Alongside former Dallas Cowboy wide receiver winner of Michael Irvin's 4th and Long, this sweet, wonderful, strong American, former Dallas Cowboy, the great Jesse Holley.
Oh, Jesse Holley went 77 yards. It must be a reality show.
Oh, Jesse Holley. How you doing, Jesse? Good to see you, brother.
I am, relatively speaking, I'm good. Life's good. Mentals are good. Mamba made me upset this morning.
That's your dog.
Mamba's the puppy. Mamba's the 6-month-old, almost 70-pound Connie Corso, who thought he had a friend in the field this morning.
Hell yeah. Good puppy out there. Nice little what? What do we have?
Yeah, nice little 2-pound, 3-pound puppy with the white stripe down his back. And Mamba found out real soon that's not a puppy. Despite dad screaming, stop, no, Mamba, come here, sit, no, stop. Mamba found out what a skunk is this morning. And so
no.
So we've been dealing with, washing Mamba with the shampoo recommended from PetSmart, the skunk shampoo. And I've been mopping all the floors and the office and spraying down his tray and his cage and all that kind of good stuff that you don't want to do on a Friday morning that you wish you didn't have to do because Mama would have listened to the first recall. But he's young and we're still working. So, yeah, that's my morning.
Yeah, you know what? I admire the people whose dogs are trained so well that when they see something that they want to do instinctually, you can say a command and they listen. Because like my dogs, I never trained them that well. So when they see a squirrel, it don't matter what the hell I say. They're gone. Like they're gone. And one of my dogs accidentally caught a squirrel one time. And that was the squirrel's fault for being stupid and running around the base of the tree instead of climbing the tree. And my dog was so shocked, like, I guess I'm going to grab you. And that was a snap neck within a half second. And so then I put the squirrel in a shoebox, and my 80-year-old neighbor, Dan, back in that time, saw me carrying a shoebox to the trash. And he goes, never seen that before. And I was just like, yeah. Kilgore, thanks for being in the super chat. He said, this is the best part of my Friday. How y'all doing? And Thompson's in here saying, what's up with Jabril Cox? Well, Jabril Cox is just out there. He's kind of an afterthought now. They brought in Anthony Barr, but he'll still be the young gun. But we have a lot of Cowboys news content to get to today with former Cowboys wide receiver Jesse Holley. Tim's in the chat saying Bland is making some noise, huh? Rookie corner DaRon Bland will be part of the program today. We'll talk about the Cowboys wide receiver group. No CeeDee Lamb, no Noah Brown at practice yesterday. What does that look like? Michael Gallup ran a couple of routes and cleats and a helmet. DaRon Bland, the defense and how they performed against the Chargers in those couple of days. Guys who we take for granted that are having great camps. All that and more with your friend, former Cowboys wide receiver Jesse Holley. But first, let me tell you about our guys at BetOnline. It's the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. If they have odds on Defensive Player of the Year in the NFL, bet on Micah Parsons. Find reviews and news for every league, including MLB, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline. They continue to be the top online resource for all your sports information from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join. Make that first sports bet. Use our promo code BLEAV50, BLEAV50, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Thanks for presenting our program, BetOnline. We love you. Okay, so Jesse, what I'm going to do is go through some of the things that I thought were newsworthy from Cowboys and Chargers practices of what we can gather from what we were able to see.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to present them to you. And you tell me how interesting is that and what your reaction is to that.
Okay, go.
Number one, CeeDee Lamb, Noah Brown didn't practice yesterday, which meant we sent QB1 out there with Cavante Turpin, Jalen Tolbert, Simi Fehoko, Dennis Houston. That was what we went up against a good Chargers defense with, and it looked like they made plenty of plays, and the offense was okay at least. When you see that, exciting for all the reps these young players are going to get, or is it just a daily question of Cowboys, really? You think you can go into a season with this?
It's terrifying, to be honest with you. Like, I'm going to be 100% honest with you, because you talk about a guy like CeeDee Lamb who has a cut on his foot and Noah Brown has a toe injury. You literally sent your $40 million quarterback out on the field with 0 NFL reception room. Like literally 0.
Not one.
Like I'm not here to talk about anybody because I only got a few more than them. But I got
okay, that's a great point though. Because a lot of people like to talk crap in the chat because it's what people do, right? Sometimes if you don't like somebody's opinion, you get mad at them. So if Jesse has something negative to say, then people are like, oh, what did you do in the league? Way more than every receiver that practiced for the Cowboys yesterday.
Yeah.
Way more than
those guys. And so that is a frightening sight to me because it's a toe and stitches for CD today, and at any point in time of the year, it can be a knee, a shoulder, a collarbone, a quad, a groin, a hammy, anything. It could be an STD. I don't know. It could be I don't know. It could be anything.
Most STDs would not keep you out of the game. And to the people asking, do I read the Twitch or the Facebook chat? Yes, we're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and I can read all of them. YouTube is just the biggest and most popular one. And then if you're listening to this later, you're probably on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Back to Jesse.
So, I mean, those guys getting those reps are fine, are great, but it's a terrifying thought process of that at any point in time this season, this could be the scenario. And whether it be CD in or Noah in or Noah out and CD in or Noah in and CD out, I mean, like any point in time, that could be the situation. And while, we look at these practices, and yes, everybody's going vanilla. Like no one's doing anything hyper anything. But that's not going to be the case when you're not going to have second team reps and third. You're going to get a real scheme. You're going to get real number ones. You're going to get real guys trying to get to Dak Prescott, and everything's not going to be clean. Everything's not going to be peachy cream. So to have that thought process of this could actually be at some point in time earlier in the year, it's a little bit scary to me. But kudos to those guys getting those reps. Some of them took advantage of them, like a guy like Dennis Houston. Other guys, didn't. I think Jalen Tolbert is kind of maybe a little bit of, for a young guy, this could be that sometimes you hit that wall in training camp because there hasn't been a ton of ascension for Jalen Tolbert in training camp. It's been Jalen Tolbert. He's a 3rd-round pick, so it's kind of been like here. It's been a ton of ascension for Dennis Houston, and it's been kind of up and down with Simi Fehoko, and it was like one great catch. We haven't heard anything else about Vasher in camp. So, it's yes, the reps are important, but let's be realistic. We're less than 30 days away from playing actual real live football that counts. And we're still having this conversation on, is this what the Cowboys are really going to do at the receiving corps?
Well, I saw Dak yesterday. I think Peter King got him to actually say some words because Dak is really good at media. If you're the team, he's good in that way. Not for us, but for the team, he's great because he'll just say the right things. But he was just talking about how, actually, kind of, I think I like where we're at right now better than I did a year ago, and that can just be company line. But I tell me if you disagree. I think that if Dak Prescott fought for Amari Cooper, Amari would be here.
I agree.
Okay. I think Dak might be the sort of quarterback that's like, look, I don't care. Like, I'm going to read the defense and throw to the proper spot. Like, I don't care. I don't need Amari Cooper. I don't need whatever. And I do think part of that has to change because now CeeDee Lamb is so much better than everybody you have that you better be figuring out how am I going to get the ball to CeeDee Lamb. And they've been doing it in camp. But I wonder if Dak is actually okay with it. Where he's like, no, because the guy they keep talking about is Dennis Houston, who is a undrafted rookie, and Dak seems to really like him. And I wonder if he just gravitates to the dudes where it's like, look, that dude was at my house all off season. I can trust him. He's going to practice every day. He's going to be where I want him to be. And I don't know, that would just be really unique for a NFL upper tier quarterback where it's like, it's fine. Like, just give me guys that I can trust that are going to work hard and be in the right spot, and I'll figure it out. Seems weird.
And some of it could be a little bit of I want to say this right, of positive. Let me repeat, positive arrogance. It's sometimes you want to say, you know what? I want to show the world that you don't attach my success with said player. Don't attach my success with said player. I want to show the world that I am. How do I get in that elite conversation? If I take this bunch to the playoffs and maybe win a game or two,
this will do it.
They got to put me in that conversation.
This will do
right?
it.
This is one of those things where it's like, I'm betting more on me than on them. Like, yes, I can trust them, but I'm betting so much on my skill, my will, my ability to go out there and play the quarterback position, is that you can give me a 5th rounder, an undrafted rookie, a 3rd rounder from the SWAC. I don't even know what conference Jalen Tolbert played in, and
South Alabama. Oh wait, no. He wasn't South Alabama, was he? South Alabama is the team that I always scheduled in NCAA football back in the day. But
yeah,
that might
South
be right.
Alabama, right? He
was South Alabama. Yeah.
So and CD Lamb. So I think it's a positive area. I think he trusts him, but I do think it's a positive arrogance of, I'm gonna show y'all I'm really worth the $40 million, because I hear the chatter, I hear the talk, I want to be put in that elite conversation. So I'm gonna take this ragtag group and I'm gonna carry them to lands far beyond any one of you can think, and now you gotta put me in that conversation.
Gimli 21 in the super chat, guys. I don't understand Zeke truthers. He's 18th in yak, 34th in broken tackles, and it's a myth that he faces stacked boxes. You guys are great. I have a almost firm don't talk about Zeke policy, because there are a lot of people that still think that he's absolutely incredible, and I'm not one of them, and those people don't like hearing from me.
So let's have a 10-second Zeke conversation.
Okay.
He's going to play more than Tony Pollard.
Yes.
And the money is the reason why. Next topic.
Yes.
That's what it is, people. Like, I don't care what you guys say. He's going to play. There's no way they're going to put, what is he, $16 million?
Yeah, like 15, 16 a year, yeah.
They're not putting that on the bench.
Keep in mind that contract got signed how many years ago? And no running back has matched those guarantees or that per year, because that is the league knows you don't do that anymore. The league knows that's not smart, but the Cowboys, that was their glory days. They handed it to Emmett a bunch and they won Super Bowls. So the Joneses are like, oh, we got a big name running back that we drafted high that's pretty good. He's the key to our success. Pay him. See, y'all made me do this. Whereas Tony Pollard, for his entire career, more yards per catch, more yards per carry, more yards after contact, more broken tackles, more forced missed tackles. Like in any other team in the NFL, if it weren't about money, would have found out with more carries, could he still outperform the guy who plays in front of him? But this team will not. And so instead, they're going to pretend they're going to play them both together, which the dirty little secret in the NFL is there is not a single team in football that's better with 2 running backs on the field than having that other person be a wide receiver. But they're going to pitch it to you as amazing because Tony Pollard's so good, because the real way he should play is over Zeke, but they'll never do that. See, why'd you guys make me do this? Why did we do this?
I'm just saying, the money is the motivation. Like, that's the motive. The money is the motive. And while he makes that much money, they're not, guys, like, as much as you want to sit here and not you, but people want to sit here and make the NFL about this meritocracy or this democracy. Like, it comes down to the bread. Who makes the most money is going to be the guy. Like, who the higher draft picks, who make the most money, those are the guys who are going to get every single opportunity that there is, no matter what. There are a ton of guys on every roster in the National Football League that you're like, if you're in that locker room, you're like, listen, guys, this dude over here, way better than that dude over here. He makes $1.2 million. He makes $12 million guaranteed. They're not playing the $1.2 million deal. They're not. So, yes.
Kilgore in the super chat asked Jesse about CD having it, and he said no. So what about Dennis Houston or any receiver in our room? Jesse, I'm going to offer you the out before I even ask your opinion. But guys who haven't even played NFL football yet, I would imagine it's going to be hard for you to assign an it factor to somebody.
Yeah, it ain't it. it ain't happened. It ain't it.
It goes to what you said, though. Like, what you're saying about the money, I do think that, like, when you hear the name like Dennis Houston and you hear it over and over and over again, understand he's earning his name being there, because that's an undrafted dude. There is no reason that his name would be in the headlines other than the coaching staff and front office clearly like what they saw in OTA's mini camp and training camp so far. And that's why he's getting all these opportunities. Like, he's earning them. He's taking the Jesse Holley route.
Come on now.
I earned this.
Get that money.
Manuel, I feel like Cowboys are willing to do the Amari Cooper thing, see what they have in the beginning of the year with young wide receivers. Who could we get? Oh, you're talking about when they had to trade for Amari to save the season, because in 2018 they went wide receiver by committee. I mean, Seattle's tanking, but their receivers are paid. You have to just see when the season gets going, like which teams are tanking and know they're not going to be good for the next year or two, which team is ready to part with a wide receiver that's about to get paid and that's in the wrong window for them. We'll find those guys as the season goes along, and we'll hope we don't need those guys. We'll hope. Eric, hey, Jeff, never thanked you for helping me plan my trip to Dallas last season. What are some position groups that got better since last year? I don't. You're welcome for whatever I did. Position groups that got better. Maybe. This is weird because I'm a big time Randy Gregory fan as a player and a person, but I think they might be better on the edge this year. Like Tank's having an incredible camp. That's a later question I had for you, Jesse, but you could just do it here. Would you put any credence into the fact that I put eyeballs on Tank for 10 days and I'm like, this guy's been really, 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 really good throughout his career. And I think he looks even better. Or is it just like, whatever. He's a good player. He's going to be a good player. And they brought in a 2nd round pick. They brought in Dante Fowler. They paid Dorrance. I think they might be better on the edge this year.
No, you have been one of the people, and I've even fought you at times about this. You've been one of the guys who has taken Randy Gregory as a whole. I'm sorry, not Randy Gregory, excuse me, Tank Lawrence as a whole. While a lot of us, myself included, know that you got paid to get sacks, right? Like that's a lot of portion of why you got paid. So when we don't see as casual fans or even people who have a better eye of the game, the sack numbers come up, we sometimes overlook the productivity in your run stopping ability, your pressures, you beating your man so bad that they have to come and double team you, gives somebody else another one-on-one. So there's other factors that play into who Tank Lawrence is that a lot of times, sometimes don't show necessarily on the stat sheet that you have always supported and always been a part of the. But wait, guys, like I know the sacks aren't there. I know the numbers that we want to see, the Robert Quinn 18 sacks a season or the 10, 12 sacks a season or because Vikers getting 11 sacks and all that kind of stuff. But if you just dig a little bit deeper and go a little bit past the surface, that there's a lot more to this dude's game that's helping us do what we do defensively. So I think, again, the narrative is still going to be
give me 10 sacks or else.
It's going to be that. The narrative is always going to be with him, again, because the money's associated with it. Yeah. It's going to be, I don't care that you're really stopping the run game. Don't care. When the quarterback drops back, I need to see you back there a little bit more. On top of him doing your celebration dance with the sack. And I don't know if that's fair, unfair, if it's whatever it is, but that's going to be the narrative when it comes to Tank is you got paid, we want sacks, give us sacks, or you suck, period.
Well, the good news is Micah Parsons is here now, and he may be the best defensive player in football for a decade, so people won't be talking about Tank all that much because they'll just be watching Micah be a freak show. Gimli, this is just extra for getting Jeff in trouble with Zeke fans. Oh, thanks. Jesse has some balls, and I love it. Too many people in Cowboys media afraid of Jerry. If you're like, there's no reason to be I think I'm more positive than a lot of people in Cowboys media, but you have to understand that the reason is not Jerry for anybody. Like, it's just what people legitimately think because Jerry don't give a shit. Like, if you're talking bad about the Cowboys, unless you're like, I don't know, digging into something incredibly personal, like Jerry don't give a shit.
That's the only time. That's the only time. If you're getting a little bit too personal or your dig is a little bit too deep, I remember like a couple of years ago, I was doing the post-game show for another company, and it was the Tavon Austin punt, no punt, like who called what. And I got a little bit too deep because I really knew what was said, who said it, and how it all worked down. And I got a call from like, hey, we appreciate your hard work and we appreciate you being really, really, really honest with the people. Don't do that.
Oh,
that's a little bit too much.
Well, I've never been that smart, I guess, because I've never heard a single thing in 12 years from the Cowboys, and I've been plenty critical and plenty positive, and I've never heard a thing. But
no, they let you be critical. It's when you start kind of. It's like that. It's like Jerry doesn't care surface. He doesn't care like the first level, second level, third. It's like when you. Sometimes he like and he'll send that. Okay, now. All right, have a good one. And it's like, oh, okay.
Like the only thing we've ever heard about is before an interview, it'd be like, hey, can we not do the anthem thing? Jerry didn't want to do the anthem thing this week. And I'm like, well, I mean, fine. But And also I know how you feel about it, Jerry. So, and I think most people do. So I don't have to ask you. Hollywood, Jerry's too loyal at a fault to players that are getting or got past their prime if they're super popular. But I mean, at a point that goes away. They got rid of Dez. He was super popular. They got rid of Aikman. He was super popular. They got rid of D. Ware. He was super popular. But they'll do it for a while for sure. They'll do it for a while.
It's always it's anything in business. It is at times I think people need to take a breath and just think to themselves, if I were Jerry, if you put so much money into a person, guaranteed money, like a boatload of it, you're not going to be as fast to just be like, like it's like you buying, like it's like Jeff, you're going to buy a Bentley, right? And you have this Bentley that you're driving around, and it gets a flat, and then you fix it, and then it gets another flat, and you go, I scrap this car, I don't want it anymore. I got 2 flats. That's just not. You're gonna you're gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna get another tire. Like I'm. Well,
that is kind of what I do. I get new cars when my inspection's out. So, but they're different because they're smarter than me.
But those aren't Bentleys. You're not getting Bentleys. You're not paying for Bentleys.
No, Ford Fusion, Honda CRV.
It's not being loyal to a fault. It's being loyal to my bread. It's being loyal to the fact that I got a lot of bread on the line, and it pains me to put all that money into something and don't see the residual return, the ROI like I thought I would.
Where is Dennis Houston on our depth chart from Kilgore? I would not be shocked. I Bleav in week 1, your depth chart will be CD, Noah Brown, Jalen Tolbert. And then Kevontae Turpin, you can put him in whatever order you want, but Kevontae Turpin will have a role because they'll want him to do bits. But if you needed another, you know what? I think that Dennis Houston sneaks on the roster as the 6th guy. I think they would put Simi in the game before him. And then it would
because of the draft status.
2nd year, and he's a draft pick. But I mean, Houston's getting a lot of run. You know what? I'll say this: where he is on the depth chart. Here's another thing. Here's a way for me to get out of this question. It doesn't matter yet. We got 2 more preseason games. What's he do? What do they do? We got the lights are going to come on 2 more times, and Simi and Dennis Houston are going to play a bunch. Who's going to show up? Because if you show up when the lights are on and somebody else doesn't, you go up. And so I would say right this second, he might be 4th or 5th. My gut says he'll end up 6th, but that all of those guys are the dudes that'll be on the team, at least until Gallup gets back. And then either Simi or Houston's probably in trouble.
Who is your backup return guy?
Jalen Tolbert, probably. I think you go Turpin, Tolbert, and then if you had to, Pollard.
Because when I look at Turpin, I go, you're gonna give me the Lucky Whitehead on offense. Like you're gonna give me the jet sweep, the end arounds, maybe a bubble screen here and there, and you're gonna return from me. That's it. Like I don't see Kevontae Turpin being any way, shape, or form a significant figure as a wide receiver in this offense.
I think that's an important distinction, is that I think he will have a role. If everyone's healthy, he'll still have a role. But if you lost, like you don't have Gallup, and if you lost one of your 3 starters, I do not think it's Turpin that goes in. I think it's between Simi and Houston.
Right.
And Turpin will have a role.
That's why I put him a little bit higher. I would put Turpin at the 6 because.
But know that he will play even if everyone's healthy.
Right. In the return game.
A little bit, yeah.
In the return game, and then they'll run that dumb jet sweep. They'll insert them in the game on 3rd and 3, and everybody will go, watch the jet sweep, watch the end around, and Kellen Moore will run the jet sweep or end around, and it'll be a tackle for loss.
No, they will put him in 4 times to run that motion, and on the 3rd one is the one time he'll get the ball to keep people honest. But that's what he'll do. Vance with the surprising play of Jake Ferguson. Should we expect more 12 personnel this year? Maybe. With what they got at receiver right now, I mean, whether it's more 2 tight end, whether it's more Tony Pollard on the field, you don't have the wide receiver star power to think that this is going to be a strictly 11 personnel team. I don't think. But, once they get Gallup back, the blessing here is the NFC East If you can just get back, if you can get Gallup back, but you need to get Gallup back and probably get 2 or 3 weeks down the road to have real Michael Gallup, and maybe more than that. Okay, well, scrap all that because I want to get to more things. All the super chats we appreciate and I love it. Hollywood, he said it's going to suck and I'm going to be highly upset if Tyron Smith retires without a ring from us. He'll join D Ware, Romo, Witten. That does suck. There's a lot of great players that have come through here that haven't gotten to get a ring, but everybody that played in the 90s got one, so that was really nice. But before we get out of here, there is a thing I wanted to get to because Michael Gallup, this is another piece of news. After practice, he's in cleats. He's wearing a helmet. He ran a couple of routes, and Dak threw him a football. It's the first time we've seen it in camp. That piece of news, your thoughts?
I love Britt Brown. For those of you that don't know, Britt Brown is the trainer. He's one of the head trainers on the Cowboys under Jim Maurer. Jim Maurer is the head trainer, but Britt Brown is the one who gets all the guys from rehab to field.
He is a tough son of a bitch. I hung out with him at the Rudder Room in Oxnard. That's a tough dude.
And the thing about Britt is like he's really a nice dude. Like if he likes you and loves you, Britt will give you the shirt off his back. But that's neither here nor there.
And if he doesn't, I feel like you might want to watch your back.
If he doesn't, he will literally gouge your eyeballs out, like literally, like wrestling style. It was encouraging to see him doing something. That he feels confident enough to do something and that they're working towards getting him back. Here comes the negative, Jess.
Oh, here comes the hating.
People look at that video and say, oh my God, look at him run. And then, Jeff, you know this. Someone who's dealt with knee injuries, you don't even have cartilage in your knees anymore. Michael Gallup is so far away from being ready to play real life football. People, there's a reason he was only running out routes because that's the one route that you can kind of continuously just keep moving. And then when you saw when he caught it, it was like, oh my God, he was afraid to stop. It was like, I'm going to stop really hard with this other leg because I don't trust my other leg or my knee or whatever it may be. So it was great to see him out here. The progression is there, but I'm almost positive with 1 week left of training camp, he's going on the pup. So that means he's going to miss the first 4 weeks of the season. That is a player that I saw running and going, there's no way he's ready for live football. There is absolutely no way close to being ready for live football. And it's going to be pup for Michael Gallup. And then after that, it's going to be another 2 or 3 weeks to get himself and his lungs, because he can run all day long with Britt Brown and the crew and Coach Nash in the weight room all day long. Doesn't compare to football conditioning. Just doesn't.
And he plays the X, so it's not like you just get to show up. Now let's do the unexpected movements that come with fighting at the line of scrimmage to get off the ball. Let's do there's a lot. That's a dude that's 6 to 8 weeks away.
So you're talking about 4 weeks to get back, and then another 3-ish weeks to kind of fully get his. Remember when Amari Cooper was out with the foot injury?
Yeah.
And Amari came back and he was like, man, it took me a while to get my feet together underneath me. And that's what you guys have to understand is that it's going to take a while to get once the speed of the game goes up and now you have real life competition, like really, really good guys defending you. I got to get my timing back, my feet back, wearing the cleats and running that fast. All those things factor in. So, I mean, you're talking about 4 weeks on pup and then, like I said, another 3, maybe 4 weeks. So he's finally comfortable enough and has his feet back underneath him to go, okay, now week 10 and on, you may get a much more sophisticated look of what Michael Gallup is as a player.
Last thing that I just want to sneak in because you haven't gotten to comment on it yet, but DaRon Bland is a 5th-round pick out of Fresno State that is a cornerback that has been showing up all throughout camp. He did it again this week against the Chargers. He had a pick and 2 pass breakups. And in yesterday's practice, Kelvin Joseph and Nashawn Wright both struggled against Denver in the first preseason game. So from me, it's basically shout out to the 5th-round rookie who I think has a shot to be the 4th corner on the depth chart, Jesse Holley. Thoughts?
Oh, I love it. There's nothing I love more than a guy who gets an opportunity and takes full advantage of it. I come from that ilk. I come from that community of guys who got an opportunity and was like, I'm going to take this thing and run with it. And he showed up. And it's not the flash. It's every day, day in, day out, week in, week out. And when you have guys like Kelvin Joseph, who was a 2nd-round pick, who is wildly inconsistent in training camp. I mean, we've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly of Nashawn Wright at 6'3", 6'4", the cornerback position. You know, I know that Dan Quinn wants size and those guys want size, but at the end of the day, you want to go out there and be able to put, 3-4 dogs on the field, whether it be in nickel or dime, that's going to go out there and play. And he's not afraid to tackle. He's not afraid to lower the boom. And if you're talking about maybe Jaron Kearse, but the back issue, I don't know what that back issue thing is doing right now with Jaron Kearse, but it's just a guy who can play some slot, play some outside, and if you need to, go into the nickel or dime and maybe play him at safety, bring him down in the box a little bit because he's not afraid. So there players like DaRon Bland who is stepping up, it gives the brainchild of Dan Quinn just so much more to play with. Because I have a willing tackler, I have a guy who can cover, so I can now do things that, if I didn't have the depth that I couldn't do. So I love it. I'm a fan. I want to see him continue to thrive. And, Jordan Lewis and company, these injuries don't help you. Right? Injuries are only helping Will Grier. That's like the only guy whose injuries are actually helping. Warriors actually helped Will Grier potentially make this football team. But when you got a guy like DaRon Bland, and you're a guy like Jordan Lewis, and you're the third corner, guys are looking around and saying, every time you're not on the field, he's on the field, he's making a play, the coaches remember that. And so, you just kind of, you don't want to be the guy getting hurt and these guys gaining ground on you.
This is Bleav in the Cowboys. The promo code Bleav 50 BLEAV50 at Bet Online will get you hooked up with a sign-up bonus. That is former Cowboys wide receiver Jesse Holley, the great and powerful Jesse Holley. I am Jeff Cavanaugh. If you need help knowing our names, here's one way. Here's me. And then here is Jesse.
Oh, Jesse Holley went 77 yards. It must be a reality show.
And remember that you have no idea what anyone is going through. So be cool to everyone. I love you. Bye. Jesse?
Eliminate the contingencies.